Magandang umaga po mga kaibigan. Welcome to our coffee chat. Ito pong ating coffee chat ay isang bahagi ng pakikipagbalitaan sa ating mga kababayan, sa mga newsmaker at iba pa. May kahalagahan po ang magiging pag-uusap ngayon sapagkat nagkaroon tayo ng pandemya at marami po ang nahirapang mag-adjust na bago ang lifestyle, na bago yung routine. Ang sabi, yung mga nasanay sa traffic, ngayon wala ng traffic sapagkat work from home. Pero merong mga pagkakataon na nagkakagulo sa loob ng tahanan sapagkat kung meron 3, 4 katao na nagtatrabaho at the same time using the internet, ang away yung signal. So paano tayo mag-a-adjust? Ano ba ang sitwasyon? Meron pong isang grupo ng mga responsableng mamamayan. Sila po yung bumubuo sa World Association for Psychosocial Rehabilitation at merong Philippine chapter. We're joined today by people behind the group. Kasama po natin mga kaibigan sa araw na ito si Sally Domino Bogalonta at magbibigay siya ng kanyang karanasan sa grupong ito na merong 22 taon na sa Pilipinas. Si Tita Cora Alma de Leon, na dati po namang chair ng Civil Service Commission at secretary ng DSWD, ay kasama rin natin. Si Dr. Tan, siya po ay isang psychiatrist at isang civic leader at kasama rin namin dun sa Flowers for Lolas with Tessie Angsi. At narito rin po naman, kasama rin natin si Zel Gonzalez at meron pa tayong mga panauhin, I guess, from DSWD. Siguro to give us a view of what this group is all about, Sally, simulan natin kung ano ang background ng grupong ito. Tell us. Oops, sandali po. Teka. Yes, please.
Thank you, Melo. I'm thankful na napasama ako dito sa WAPR Philippines, World Association for Psychosocial Rehabilitation Philippines. Itong grupo na to sa Philippines nga, nag-organize ng group dito sa Philippines. This is an international organization. Ang pinopromote nila is psychosocial rehabilitation. Ano ba yung psychosocial rehabilitation? Ito yung intervention designed to work sa sa kabuuan ng tao, yung body, mind and spirit. Kailangan balansyado, no? So with psychosocial rehabilitation, we want to improve the individual functioning ng mga taong nagkaroon ng sakit sa pag-iisip, his management of the illness, and to facilitate the recovery through initiatives kagaya ng ginagawa namin every year, yung mini Olympics for recovering patients. So ito yung gusto naming baguhin yung mindset ng tao na pag sinabing mental illness, wala na yung pag-asa. So we want to prove to the community na may pag-asa ang mga tao na to at tutulungan sila at kailangan lang nila ng tulong. And we're just so thankful na finally in 2018 meron na tayong mental health law. And the law is for these patients who want to be part of the society again, kaya lang kailangan natin silang tulungan.
Opo. Ano po ang adhikain ng inyong grupo? Siguro si Tita Cora can tell us more about this.
Yes.
Madam Chair, Tita Cora, good morning and welcome to our discussions today.
Ay, nakamute si Tita Cora.
Unmute ko. I'm
yes.
now okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm glad you asked me because in a sense, I am representing at least 3 people when coming before you. No? Unang-una, yung ating naging world president ng WAPR, si Dr. Lourdes Ignacio, who cannot join us today. Ang current president ng WAPR na si Lucy Lasso, dating undersecretary ng Department of Labor and Employment, at isa ding dating commissioner ng Civil Service, si Commissioner Mary Ann Fernandez. Kumbaga, my representing here is really to wear 4 hats because they're the powers that be in the organization historically and at present. Pero ako, the reason I'm here is because I'm a member of a family that had a sister who got sick and got well. Ibig sabihin, hope for the future. Huwag matakot kahit matagal nang may sakit. Kasi I had I'm very public about it na nagkaroon ako ng kapatid na nagpunta sa Inglaterra, sa England, nagkaroon ng training, a social worker. When she came back, she was not well psychologically. And it took some time. Pero it took also the psychiatrist, Dr. Lourdes Ignacio, to get her back to normalcy. So ako magpapatotoo na pwedeng gumaling ang kahit na sinong pasyente given the necessary intervention of the medical and of course family intervention. Kaya I'm here to help support na ngayon na ang mental illness and pandemic, we must face the future. And naniniwala ako na with this dialogue, this should not be the only time we will do it. Kasi actually may conference kami dapat na hindi natuloy. At of course, meron tayong mini Olympics sa Sabado. I'm here to share my own thinking about how we can move forward because given the law ay may puwersa na tayo para ma-implement yung batas na yon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. Si Dr. Tan Cho Chiong is a psychiatrist. Tell us more, ano yung karaniwang sakit na ika nga nagaganap ng tao? Yes, Doc?
Yes, thank you, Melo. Yeah, regarding the psychosocial rehabilitation, yung katulad ng sinabi ho kanina ni Ma'am, hello?
Yes, please.
Yes, oh, you're okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah, many patients with mental illness, like sinabi ni Tita Cora kanina, like may schizophrenia, may bipolar disorder, During the acute phase, they become restless, agitated, yung iba, nagwawala, naging violent, So in this acute phase, we use drug treatment and also supportive care to control their behavior, usually, mga ganito, usually 1 to 2 weeks, in general, in average, they get well after 1 to 2 weeks, But what comes next is that many of them, after recovery from this acute phase, they have the residual effects, like nasa bahay lang sila, they cannot work, and if you may take years for them to be staying at home. So nakakahinayang kasi number one, from somebody who used to be very functional, after the acute phase, they become non-functional. So here comes the role of psychosocial rehabilitation. Now, in psychosocial rehabilitation, our group, we emphasize on the work, therapeutic works sa mga pasyente after the acute phase. Like we encourage them to do occupational therapy, we help them to go back to the mainstream of the society, and let's say doing some charitable work, community work, and slowly we put them back to the mainstream of the community or society, and hopefully they can go back to work, So this is what we call psychosocial rehab. In fact, treatment of acute phase is easier, but itong psychosocial phase will take long time, months or even years,
Mm-hmm.
So that is our function of the psychosocial group.
Doc, let me ask you
Our
this.
psychosocial rehabilitation.
Yeah. Paano malalaman ng isang tao na mayroon siyang karamdaman? Because definitely, when a person is told na may cancer siya, the first reaction is denial. Hindi pwede. Pero in the same manner, pag meron kang problema sa pag-iisip, how would you know if you have it? Doc?
Yes. Yeah, that's a very practical issue, very practical question. First, let's I'll try to answer it in this way. Let's say the common illnesses, like during this COVID crisis, COVID period, many people, they cannot go out, the social activities na affected them, there's a sudden change of lifestyle. So of course, what happens is they cannot sleep, they become anxious, they may even become depressed. For those people, for those might one, but they can cope up. Like they do things, they engage in painting, in baking, in exercise at home. But for those, they become more severe, let's say to the point na hindi na sila kumakain, hindi makatulog, they become withdrawn, they feel sad, or some of them may even become suicidal, So in this case, they need to be treated. Okay, that's what. And maybe for those severe ones, let's say mga psychosis, they talk irrelevantly, agitated, they become very suspicious, na disrupted ang buhay ng mga family life. The other family members are affected. In this case, they also warrant treatment or referral to psychiatrists. So these are some of the situations.
Okay. Mabuti po binanggit ninyo sapagkat baka meron tayong mga kababayan who may not know it, pero meron silang kasama sa pamilya na baka naiiba ang pag-uugali. Of course, ang very classic example dito, Tita Cora at kay Sally at ganoon din kay Zel, yung nakikitang pelikula nung araw.
Yes.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
Pero baka walang karamdaman pero naka-classify lang na may karamdaman, no? Hindi po kaya may ganun din pagkakataon, Tita Cora?
Yes, kasi ang tawag doon sometimes psychotic break, no? Yung parang instant nagpakita ng hindi normal, kaya nga sabi abnormal behavior, hindi normal. Sinabi ni Dr. Tan, ang totoo diyan, dahil hindi makatulog, syempre hindi tama ang pag-iisip, hindi makakain, and such other, parang may kaba, parang natatakot, may fear, etc. Ito yung mga symptoms na hindi ordinary kasi medyo matagal ng konti na nagwi-withdraw, ayaw lumabas sa kwarto, walang melancholic, yung ayaw magsalita, ayaw kahit sabihin kung maybe patango-tango lang. Or the other extreme, the more psychotic will harm people, will harm themselves. So, iba-iba kumbaga sa spectrum, pwedeng malaki, depende ang behavior. But also, ang kailangan ma-recognize the role of the family. Kasi minsan, ang family dinidismiss as, ay wala, talagang ganyan lang yan. Hindi yun talagang ganyan. There can be something, dapat isipin, something can be done about it. It cannot be normal because precisely hindi na normal, abnormal, kaya kailangan ayusin whether the environmental change, kasi merong iba for instance na wala ng trabaho. This time during this pandemic, gulong-gulo ang isip dahil hindi alam paano papakainin ng pamilya, walang trabaho. Ano nangyayari? Sa Kamaynilaan, puro nagpapalimos ang mga tao. It's a behavioral change to cope. So hindi ko sinasabing mali sila, pero dapat unawain natin, doon ang nakikita nilang kalutasan sa problema, nawawala yung shame. Kasi hindi naman normal na magpalimos ka, pero napipilitan silang gawin yon at ginagawa nila dahil naniniwala sila, solusyon yun sa kanilang problema.
Mm-hmm. Normally, sabi sa basic psychology, it's coping with reality.
Yes.
How one copes with reality, which will make a person normal.
Yes.
Kaya sa kung hindi ka na makakatugon doon sa nangyayari, may problema tayo. I'd like to hear from Sel Gonzalez. Sel, good morning and thank you for being with us today. Tell us your views about the issues today.
Thank you for inviting me also, Miss Sally and all the guests. My view in mental health is, yes, they can encounter extreme life experiences in life. It can be grieving, it can be depression, anxiety, and so many things. But my point of view here is if we give them enough attention, programs, at family intervention, and self-intervention or psychological intervention, social intervention, then they can be recovering. It would not lead into something that mas lalala yung kanilang sitwasyon. So that's my point of view in terms of dealing with this kind of mental health concerns that we have been encountering po.
Yeah. Pero over the years, ano yung karanasan ninyo? Ano yung karanasan na, sabihin natin, ano nakapagturo sa inyo? What have you learned over the years?
Oh,
Ako na siguro ang pwedeng sumagot muna, no?
okay.
Dahil nakita ko, medication, yung gamot na pwedeng maging ma-stabilize sila. Number 2, yung tama yung role ng family. Kasi ako, nilalabas ko, dinadala ko sa mall, kumakain sa labas. Parang as normal as it can be. And of course, she was also hospitalized briefly, pero yung tama din yung occupational therapy na meron silang ginawa doon sa hospital, and therefore when she came out better.
Okay. We're joined by Eric Esmas, yung OIC ng DSWD Sanctuary Center. Yes, good morning and welcome to the discussions.
Yes, sir. Good morning and good morning to everyone. Teka lang.
Yeah.
Nawawala.
There, you're okay.
Okay.
Maliwanag.
Welcome kay Ma'am Cora. I met her nung nasa JFC ako. Dr. Tan, si Ma'am Sally.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Good morning sa inyo. Thank you for inviting me. So we are here now at Sanctuary Center. We cater to women with improved mental health conditions. And we were introduced to the psychosocial rehabilitation process last 2017 by Dr. Benny Vicente ng National Center for Mental.
Yes, please.
So we can adapt the program for our clients.
So what have you been doing lately?
In terms of rehabilitation, we have focused the clients to 3 objectives. Number 1, help them restore self-care. Number 2, help them develop social skills. Number 3, and for those who can, we enroll them for employable work.
Okay.
And job placed 3 residents already. We were supposed to deploy 7 more this year, but due to the pandemic, the opportunity was limited. And one of the concerns right now is
Yes.
over their present situation because they cannot go to work and live a normal life again. That's what we are trying to process right now with them. And while we are waiting for their opportunity to go back to normal community, we are providing appropriate activities that will enhance their capabilities. Right now we have 52 commercial baking, merong urban farming. There are engaged in beads and handicraft work. So aside from the regular daily living activities, we have 52 who are very much, we can say, recovered or have uplifted themselves from their previous condition. Aside from providing basic needs of food, shelter, clothing.
Okay.
Psychiatric check-up.
Uh-huh.
Kaya lang with the recent condition, pati yung psychiatric check-up na limit kasi we were only part of the community program ng NCMH. So with the COVID-19 affecting NCMH also, limited na pati yung visit ng psychiatrist. So we are pursuing online
Teka, Eric, with your indulgence, mag-shift tayo dun sa isang account mo, no? Mas maganda yung signal dun sa isa kaysa diyan. Okay. So you were saying, paki-unmute na lang muna.
Okay, unmute.
Yeah, yung isa. Yan, okay. Mas
Ito na lang
maganda
po.
yung, yan, okay. All right.
Dito na lang.
Okay, go. Yes, please.
Okay. So, ganun, we are practicing psychosocial rehabilitation with the help from the National Center for Mental Health. Right now, we have at least 52 clients kinategorize namin sa level 3, meaning they are able to show proper self-care and proper social skills. So sila yung nasa third phase, which is vocational training in preparation for independent living or our proposed halfway house. Kaya lang, dahil sa pandemya na limitado ang kanilang opportunity ngayon. In fact, out of the 7 na dapat ma-deploy, naibalik sila lahat ng employer dahil nagsarado rin yung mga kumpanyang napasukan nila. Doon sa naunang 4 na nakapag-independent living, regular lang ang consultation nila sa amin, pero hindi pa sila nababalik. So bukas pa yung company nila. Ang concern lang is siyempre dahil hindi sila matanggap sa trabaho or makapasok, tumataas minsan yung anxiety level nila at nag-tendency to revert back dun sa behavior na hindi tama.
Okay. So, maganda yung binanggit mo yan. Pero, Madam Cora, how do we deal with such reality na magaling ka na, maayos ka na, pero nagdududa yung posibleng maging employer?
I will share my own experience. Alam mo, Melo, when I was a regional director, I was active sa National Center for Mental Health in the return to the families. Yung bang may program sila doon, parang preparing na pag magaling na, makauwi na. And I did that. I sent 72, tawag ko doon, recovered mental patients to my region, Region 4, para to be able to continue to live in their homes normally. But the reality we had to contend with is wala namang gamot sa mga barangay health centers to continue their medication. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng maalis yung medication. In fact, I would see it as medication for life. Dahil yun ang nagbibigay sa kanila ng lakas para to cope with whatever tensions there are in life. So nakita ko na there can be no rehabilitation without considering yung aftercare na merong gamot kung saan man sila titira, provision. May capacity ang mga magulang, ang mga families na tulungan sila because medyo mahal din ang medication. Although meron namang injection nga na once a month yata, meron, I'm not that familiar anymore. Pero naniniwala ako, tama yung nang sinabi ni Eric dito na kailangan may preparation. Kasi ang nangyayari, hanggat hindi favorable ang condition ng employer to warrant na continuing placement ng mga ganung pasyente, pag nagka-problema, balik sa sanctuary. Kaya nga minsan, sabi ko, ang pangalan ng sanctuary, medyo, ang ibig sabihin, bumalik ka dito kasi you have a sanctuary here. Parang wala nang pag-asa lumabas dahil nasa sanctuary. And that is true because I was able to refer somebody there na patient na talagang nireject na ng mga magulang, ayaw na talaga. Because she did so much wrong with the family, napadyaryo pa. So, ang option na lang doon is foster home care o kaya outside placement. And I saw that yung sa halfway home ng DSWD, 4 patients who were discharged lived in one apartment. They were working and they were parang independent living. Kailangan yun mag-prepare sila independent living.
Okay, that's good. So meron pala naman, may pag-asa.
Meron.
Yes.
Pero
Meron po.
anong factor ng family? I'd like to pose this question to all the panelists. Gaano kahalaga ang pamilya? Whether we like it or not, yung pamilyang Pilipino ngayon challenged because either the father or the mother or both parents are abroad, naiwan yung anak sa lolo o sa lola na mahilig mag-tong age, na yung pinapadalang pera hindi na ibabayad sa eskwelahan. I learned of schools na ang gusto nga nila magkaroon na ng online na pagbabayad dun sa kanilang eskwelahan from the parents abroad para sigurado mabayaran yung tuition. Dahil sa pag hindi nakakabayad, ano nangyari sa pera? Naisugal ho.
Yeah.
You know, I'm talking of about 10 million overseas Filipinos, sabi nila, at marami nang umuuwi. Kung walang trabaho, how do you cope with that? This is the reality brought about by COVID. Pero sabi ng ilang mga sociologists at mga nagsusuri, long before the COVID-19, dysfunctional na yung ilang mga pamilyang Pilipino.
Yes.
Sino po ang pwedeng sumagot? Sel?
Actually, sir, ang ganda nung advocacy nila Sir Eric, no, tsaka yung sinabi ni Miss Cora. Right now po kasi, I work in One Algon Place. It's a hospital resort and we have a school concept. Yung sinasabi po nila na nahihirapan sila kasi walang mga doktor, kailangan online na siya. And then, right now po, ang ginawa po namin, lahat po ng programs namin, ginawa po namin online. Meron po kaming family intervention online, meron po tayong counseling online, meron po tayong schooling online, para po hindi po matigil yung mga learnings ng pamilya, yung communication ng pamilya, yung mga programa ng mga kliyente. Ang tawag po kasi namin sa mga kliyente, estudyante. So lahat po yan, ginawa po namin dito sa resort ng Algon. Gumawa po kami ng fake community. Kumbaga parang nandito, meron po silang livelihood. Kung halimbawa mag-relapse po sila, pwede po silang bumalik dito and then go back to their ma-training sila ulit biopsychosocially. So, yun po yung yung pinaka-modern hybrid na ginawa po ng One Algon Place para hindi po matigil yung service. Kasi pag natigil po, I agree po sa sinabi ni Ms. Cora at saka ni Sir Eric, na kapag natigil, kahit sila mismo, yung hopeless na yung mga health workers na walang magawa kahit ano yung gusto nilang tulungan yung kanilang kliyente. So right now po, marami pong interventions na pwedeng gawin online. Kaya yan po yung naisip namin dito sa Algon para hindi po talaga matigil yung interventions na kailangan ng isang taong may mental health problem.
Okay. Sally, from the faith-based group, anong papel ng simbahan? Unmute muna.
Okay. Okay. So, ako, because my work umiikot sa patients and families recovery, nagpapasalamat talaga ako sa WAPR kasi I'm not a doctor. Marami akong natutunan in my joining this organization. Ang una naming ginawa as a result of our annual mini-Olympics and conferences is to educate patients and families. Kasi totoo, ang hirap. Kasi magaling na yung pasyente, uwi mo sa bahay, pero hindi ready ang family.
Yes.
Anong mangyayari? Babalik uli sila. And that's not psychosocial rehabilitation if we really want to make this work. Kaya ang una naming ginagawa is once patients are scheduled to be discharged, nagkakaroon ng mga psychosocial ng psychoeducation. Ito yung nagawa ng isang family support group namin sa PGH Ward 7. Na we have a very strong family support group na ang mga patient dito they are able to accept the illness kasi really yung sakit at alam nila kung ano yung sakit nila. Bipolar ba sila? Schizophrenia ba yan? Personality disorder ba yan? So, alam nila anong symptoms neto and how can you cope. So, with this, ito yung naging ng WAPR to encourage institution to organize family support groups para ma-educate sila. So, ay importante yung sa psychosocial rehabilitation, we stress the importance of medicine. Kasi kung sinabi ng doktor na kailangan mong uminom ng gamot to address the symptoms, you have to comply with the yung gamot. And kung kailangan mo ng pag magaling ka na, kailangan kang i-prepare sa rehab. Andun yung mga occupational therapists, to help you with skills training until such time na alam mo na kung ano yung skill na pwede mong magamit when finally you are discharged. Makatulong ka sa family and hopefully sa sa community. Kaya natutuwa kami dito sa not just the annual conferences but also this mini Olympics for patients because we want them to, sabi nga namin, out of the shadow into the sunshine para makita nila na hindi na sila mahiya sa kanilang sakit. Yung stigma ma-address na. Kahit na sabihin na sila ay nagkaroon ng sakit sa isip, hindi na sila devastated ng ganon. Natatanggap na nila and I'm so thankful na this time in this advocacy nakaka-invite na ako ng mga patients to talk about their journey with mental illness. Kaya ang dami din when they talk about their story, when they share their stories, ang daming ganun ba yun? Ang sakit pala na yun ay pwede pang gumaling.
Yes.
So this is very challenging for us at WAPR. Kaya siguro given the strength, itutuloy namin itong mga ginagawa namin to tell the community na welcome them back. Kagaya ng mga prisoner, di ba? Sa mga kailangan din bigyan sila ng pagkakataong makabalik uli sa society as normal person.
Good.
Kung hindi mo sila i-welcome, babalik uli sila sa hospital. And this we don't want anymore. Kasi may magagandang gamot na pwede na silang maging normal uli.
Good. Dr. Tan, let me ask you. There is this tendency among people to have this messianic complex. Malapit na naman ang eleksyon. Pero anyway, this is based on science and medicine. How would you distinguish a person na merong messianic complex o messiadic? Baka messiad, sabi nung ilan. I don't know, Doc, how you'd react to it.
When you say messiah, you mean to say those people who feel great, who feel the mission, is that something like that? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Gusto magpresidente, sa kami ng problema ng bansa.
Yes.
Kailangan i-diagnose.
Well, I think we have to really we cannot just look at this messiah thing, we have to evaluate the patient in totality, Okay, well, some people really, they have this people who are in good state of mind, they really have this idealism to save our country, but however, if let's say if we look at them, but we have to also look at other aspect of the mental status, if let's say if there could be some other signs and symptoms of abnormal behavior, on top of this messiah type of thinking, So in other words, we have to look at the person in totality before we can say whether he's thinking, this kind of idealism is really realistic, part of his same way of thinking, or it's part of the psychotic, part of the so-called delusion of grandiosity. So,
Okay.
we just don't just look at this thinking, but we have to look at we have to also interview the family, whether there's some other unusual or abnormal behavior.
Yeah.
Doc, may binabanggit si Madam Cora, si Sally, at ganoon din si El. Yung medication, yung gamot. Pero if I am a very poor man and my family cannot afford my medicine, what will happen to me? Will I go generics? Doc?
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's again a very realistic question, Yeah, this is the medical economics, Yeah, many of the patients, many of the patients, they really have difficulty with finance, okay? And one good thing is that I, like in mental hospital, and also like somewhere in whose areas, they are able to buy medicine, this antipsychotic medication at antidepressants at very, very low price.
Low prices,
Okay? Even much lower than the usual drugstore. So this is a kind of public service, by our government hospitals.
Mhm.
Melo,
Yes.
meron din
And
ako
of course,
isi-share.
there are really some people who are really very poor. Talagang, we are really sorry to say, those who are really very, very poor, they are really deprived of the chance to be treated. Ano? That's why we also need the help of these NGOs and other kind-hearted charitable
Yes.
Yeah.
institutions to help us.
Okay. Yes?
Gusto ko lang natutuwa ako kasi minsan napupulaan yung gobyerno. Pero ang masasabi ko ngayon, nagpapasalamat kami kasi we were able to really get help for medicine for indigent patients namin. Nakakakuha na sila ng 3-month supply. They have to produce yung mga requirements, 3-month supply of free medicine from the Medicine Access for Indigent Medicine Assistance for Indigent Patients, yung MAIP program.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dito, kailangan lang talaga i-certify sila ng social worker na they are indigent, no? And kailangan recent, they have this abstract that will tell the MAIP office na sila nga ay undergoing treatment at ito yung mga gamot na kailangan nilang i-take because pag hindi talaga sila uminom at kailangan yon, tendency is babalik sila sa kanilang sakit. Kaya kailangan makita ng gobyerno na like the mental health law now, gusto nating i-decongest ang mga mental institution so that kailangan may gawin din tayong tulong. But definitely, we don't want this to be abused. Kailangan talaga mapunta ito doon sa mga tunay nangangailangan. And I
Yes.
can say, sa Alliance of Filipino Families for Mental Health, naka-refer na kami ng mga patient. Siyempre, ni-screen din namin kasi ayaw namin mapahiya doon sa MAIP. Na-refer ng Alliance, yung pala, pwede naman. So we make sure that they really are indigent and they have the certification from the social services and ini-endorse namin sila. Kaya nakakatuwa. Ang kasi namin, ang mga patient namin noon nung wala pa itong MAIP program na to, and there's also another one, the Medicine Assistance Program of DOH. Ang ginagawa nila because they already are aware of their illness, alam na nila ang sakit nila, alam na nila pag hindi sila uminom, babalik ang sakit nila. Nagtatawagan sila, Tita Cora, sa family support group. Pwede bang manghiram ako ng gamot kasi wala pa akong gamot? So naghihiraman sila, nagtutulungan, Tita Cora. I feel so very good to see this patient na gumagawa ng paraan para sila magkaroon ng gamot.
Yeah.
And sila din, talagang they honor their word na binabalik din naman nila. And at natutuwa din ako kasi kahit papano lalabas sila, maglalabada sa neighbor para sila magkaroon ng pambili ng gamot. So these are initiative pag ang mga pasyente talaga nire-realize nila na kailangan nilang tulungan ang sarili na and they should not be dependent on anybody if they can do it. So ito yung gusto naming i-sustain at tulungan.
Good.
Kaya napakaganda pag maintindihan ng community, naintindihan ng mga agencies in the government na itong mga tao na to, pag tinulungan, malilesen ang economic burden later on kasi sila magiging productive.
Great.
Melo,
Yes, ma'am.
ang take ko naman dito kay Sally, you speak of medicine. Panahon na para pag-aralan natin kung ano yung mga indigenous na pwedeng
Yes.
gamot na ma-develop. Kasi nandun si Dr. Jaime Tan, I remember Senator Johnny Flavier pushed for, of course, earlier on was the generic law. Pero beyond that, yung ethnic sa atin na pwedeng makatulong. Kailangan siguro we need research from the Department of Science and Technology para ma-push natin ano yung alternatives to the medicines that are produced not in the Philippines but abroad and for which we are paying high prices. So panahon na para tiniya anong alternative dito sa medication na to. Olanzapine, and then whatever. Ang challenge dito sa akin ay sa health sector din. Natingnan kung anong alternatives. Kasi nakakatuwa na nung I remember the time na sabi isang injection lang, 1 month na yon.
Yeah.
Talaga? May ganun?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Even in the health center na ma-maintain nila ang kanilang health. But yun ang future na nakikita ko na kulang pa sa atin.
Okay.
And I look forward to that na ang mahirap, hindi sasabihin, kasi pag mayaman may gamot, pag mahirap, kamote na lang, o yung mahihirap yung they deserve to be there. Hindi, kasi they also deserve the highest, the best na we can give to these
Aha.
people. Pero sasabihin kasi naman unproductive naman yan kaya pwede na lang. But we can still do some research.
Yes, I
Totoo
can
yan,
only agree.
Cora. Oo,
Yeah.
totoo yan, Tita Cora. Kasi pag palagi silang consistent sila
Gamot.
sa kanilang consultation with the doctor, eventually yung gamot nalilesen.
Yes.
Kaya
Yes.
dito ngayon papasok yung ina-advocate namin ni Dr. Tan, yung Twina therapy, yung traditional medicine na nakakatulong kasi
Yes.
pag masakit ang ulo, na feeling depressed, pag
Massage.
yung Twina therapy, massage therapy, nakakatulong sa kanila para mabawasan at hindi na uminom ng gamot. And that's why I'm also thankful to Sir Eric dahil pinopromote na nila ngayon ang care farming. And this is also one of the intervention na inaano namin sa WAPR, yung psychosocial intervention initiatives, care farming, tapos yun na nga, yung traditional medicine. Kasi definitely, ang gamot is to cure the symptoms. Pero pag na-manage na ng isang pasyente ang kanyang sakit, malilesen na yung pag-inom ng gamot at ma-introduce siya dito sa mga initiatives na to, care farming, therapy, yung mga Twina therapy, yung mga ganito, good food, yung nutrition,
Yes.
di ang laki ng tulong para sila ay talagang gumaling.
All right.
I think the key word is productivity. Kasi dapat sila ay busy, whether using their hands, using their mind, and all that. And feeling nila at the end of the day, meron silang na-achieve.
Accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me ask Eric Franco Esmas of the SWT. Give me a profile of your clients, no? Economic profile, where do they come from in demographics? No names, please.
Okay.
Ano po ang karaniwang kliyente ninyo?
Okay, right now we have 223 residents. Most of them come from Luzon, dun sa 223, and karamihan din sa kanila ay galing sa mahihirap na pamilya.
Mm-hmm. And then, wawala yung internet ni... teka, sandali po. Nag-mute kayo.
Nag-mute ba? Wait.
Okay. So, you were saying most are from Luzon.
From Luzon,
And then,
and most of them are from very rural or poor communities natin sa Luzon. Ang isa sa nagiging problema, hindi naman sila gustong, kaya lang napapabayaan dahil sa mayroong mas may pangailangang inuuna sa pang-araw-araw, kagaya ng magtatrabaho, mag-aalaga ng anak. Minsan naiiwan yung pasyenteng mag-isa. Kaya sila naglalakad papuntang kalsada. May isang case kami, nilakad niya mula Samar, nakapunta siya ng Luzon. Nilakad lang daw niya yon at nag-hitchhike lang siya. Hindi naman dahil sa pinabayaan siya nung pagkakataon na mabantayan siya. Wala rin naman masyadong pagkakataon sa kanilang lugar dahil common na ginagawa ay farming. So kapag hindi sila nakakasama dun sa productive work, naiiwan sila sa bahay. So yun yung kadalasang nagiging problema ng mga residenteng napupunta dito. Meron din kami mga residente na mga may kaya pala, no? Totoo.
Nag-mute po kayo.
I-mute po ba?
Ngayon, okay na.
Okay na po.
Okay.
Meron po kami mga naging residente na talagang mayaman sila. Nagkaroon lang ng pagkakataon na hindi nagkasundo, naiwan ng anak, napabayaan, so hindi naagapan yung simptomas. Kaya tumawid siya doon sa sinasabi.
Wala ka na naman.
Teka. Okay, sandali po. Nawawala.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay na po.
So, may kakayahan pero napabayaan at napagkakamalan na mahirap, gano'n.
Kaya lang siya napagkamalan ng
Oops. Yes.
Wala eh.
may mga instance na ganun.
Actually, Melo, yan realidad na yan sa mga mayayaman, itinatago. Kasi kahiya-hiya. That's not only in the Philippines, miski sa abroad. Yung mga mayayaman sa Singapore, kapag merong
That's
may
true.
anak, nilalagay sa ibang bansa. Because parang wag alam sa kalambayan na meron silang kapamilya na gano'n. There is still stigma. Hindi natin sasabihin sa Pilipinas lang meron yan. In other countries, meron din yan, tinatago. But I think ang difference, and I think we should learn from the advanced countries na may mga ginawa sila. My field work when I was a student at Catholic University was at St. Elizabeth's Hospital, a federal hospital. They had over 1,000 malaking pasyente. That is already closed. So nagbago na rin ang pananaw ng Amerika tungkol sa mga having federal hospitals, yung malalaking na nakakulong lahat. Parang kulungan ang mga pasyente, yung psychiatric patient. Ngayon, they must be in the community. Sana nga in every barangay merong bahay na in the meantime may pwedeng matulungan sila, nakakalabas. Parang moving door, hindi palaging nakakulong doon, pwedeng lumabas at matulungan. I dream of the day na in every barangay merong facility na gano'n.
Okay. I do recall during my younger days, and that's a long, long time ago, sa Bicol, karaniwang nakakarinig ng balita na uminom ng lason.
Yeah.
Ang paborito Thiodan, yung herbicide. Anong dahilan? Basta nagpatiwakal. Pero nobody came with a study. Ano nangyari? Bakit nagkaganon? What factors led? Siguro baka mahina lang yung puso niya dahil nag-break sila ng girlfriend niya o ng boyfriend niya. And ganun. Hindi ko rin nalaman kung yung extreme poverty would be enough to drive one to commit suicide. I don't know whether there's an empirical study to find out ano mga dahilan nito. Kawalan ba ng emotional quotient? Ano ba? Dr. Tan, please, your thoughts about this.
Yeah, I think taking this mga ganitong mga corrosive substances, yung mga ibang detergent, yung mga tablets, these are all forms of suicidal behavior, lalo na sa atin since tuberculosis is a very rampant infectious lung disease, maraming pasyente na they overdose themselves with the anti-tuberculosis medication. Well, I think suicide, the number one cause ng suicide is depression, that's number one. And of course, in some cases, the suicide can be secondary to psychosis, like yung mga ibang may schizophrenia, may naririnig sila, minsan yun ang utos ng hallucinatory voice, ang inuutos sila, inumin mo itong lason, or you go to a high building and jump down from there, from the building, from the bridge, so can be depression, can be psychosis, so these are the most common causes of suicide. Okay. Of course, yung mga iba, may family problem, love problem, professional and other things that can cause suicide.
Okay.
May isa pa din, Melo.
Yes po.
May isa pa din factor, kakulangan ng health services, kakulangan ng psychiatry, psychology. Parang feeling ko, hindi masyadong na-enhance yung maparami. Hindi ganun karami yung mga nakakapasa sa board exam will go into psychiatry. Parang feeling nila, it's a different field. It should be broadened kung maging community health, siguro mababago kasi talagang 600 plus lang yata ang psychiatrist natin to, of course, 120 million population. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yes,
Dadagdag din, Melo, oo. Kasi ang tao may tatlong basic needs, di ba? Una yung physical needs niya, yung food, clothing, shelter, kailangan ma-provide yon. Kasi pag hindi, magkakaroon ng problema. At yung psychological needs niya na dapat may loving and nurturing relationship sa family, and then the social needs that they are important member in a group, ganyan. So itong basic needs na to, pag ito ay hindi
Tutugunan.
ma-fulfill at ma-block, it can cause stress. At pag itong stress na prolong, then this can lead to disturbance in mental health. Aside pa doon sa pwede din itong mamana, no? So kailangan talaga yung unawain ang pangangailangan ng tao. Ang pamilya dapat may nurturing environment for the family, for the children to grow physically and mentally healthy. Tapos yung affirmation na importante ka, mahalaga ka, di ba? Ito kasi yung mga needs ng tao na nakakalimutan natin ngayon with the worldliness of life. Parang makasirili na ang mga tao ngayon eh. So nakakalimutan na nila, and even the government minsan hindi nila kaya yung mga basic needs ma-provide doon sa mga karamihang tao. Kaya pag hindi na sila kumakain, pag wala silang matulugan, ano nang mangyayari sa kanila? So sa tingin ko ito yung dapat tingnan ng mga policy makers natin. Kaya natutuwa ako sa mental health law kasi somehow covered na ito na dapat ma-provide, because as what WAPR is advocating, we really have to reintegrate patients back to their families and community, because long-term confinement will never help. Lalo lang silang lalala at magiging burden sa society.
Okay, very good. Sel, your thoughts about the issues. You come from a private entity. Can you give us an eye view of how you respond to the needs ng inyong mga kasama sa community?
Yeah, right now I'm focused on the teenagers who commit suicide. Ngayon po napakarami po ngayon. And then what I do, right, to respond to these teenagers, nag-create po ako ng FB page. Ayun nga po. Kaya nga po nagkaroon ng mini Olympics, because I also suggest sa WAPR na let's do it. Huwag tayong magdalawang isip, gawin natin yan so that they would also feel they are important and they in sila. Actually, bigyan ko po kayo nakakatawang experience. Yung mga kliyente po namin dito, mga estudyante, pinagti-TikTok ko po yan. Pinagpa-practice ko po yan ng TikTok. Bakit po? Para paglabas nila, hindi po sila, kumbaga magugulat, ay may ganito na pala. So kung ano po yung nangyayari sa labas, ginagawa po natin yan lahat dito sa loob para updated po ang mga kliyente. Yun po, babalik po ako sa suicide ng mga bata. I created a page para lang po makatulong. I called it PM therapy. Yung mga bata po ngayon ayaw na nila makipag-usap. Even sa phone, even sa video ayaw nila. So we have this page, we call it Mental Health Teen Edition, para at least ma-address lang po yung mga talagang ang mga sumusulat po doon, nagpi-PM sa akin, PM po SMS na gusto na nila talagang magpakamatay or nagtangka silang magpakamatay. So even in small things po like that, kung ma-assess po or sa maliit na bagay, sa maliit na oras, makakasave po tayo ng buhay. Like, dun po sa page namin, nakasave po kami ng mga 35 na na-refer po namin. 35 mga bata, 11 years old hanggang, meron nga po hanggang 25. Ni-refer po namin yan sa iba't ibang institution. Ako po, nagre-refer po ako kahit sa NCMH, kahit po dito, or at least ma-save po. Kasi talagang nakakatakot. Sa Baguio nga lang po, di ba recently, 14. Sa Palawan po, nagugulat po yung mga values educator, bakit daw po gano'n ang mga kabataan ngayon. So, because of the technology also, it doesn't mean malaki na tutulong ng technology, pero marami rin po kasing ngayon, nasisira dahil sa wrong, yung maling paggamit o yung irresponsible use of social media. So, yan po yung...
Let me pose this question to everyone in the panel. I've heard of stories na merong mga kabataan who would go out of their way to the point of selling their bodies just to acquire the latest cell phones, just to have the latest iPads. Would you know of similar incidents?
Yes.
Yan.
Any takers?
Ako, nakita ko yan sa mga kabataan talaga na parang mas mahalaga sa kanila yung cellphone kaysa sa pagkain, di ba? Kahit sa minsan pinapadalhan sila ng Kasi karamihan ng mga families ngayon nasa abroad, ang mga mothers especially. Tapos papadala na lang yung pera, yung kanilang pera na pambayad sa school, hindi nila nababayad, and then sa gadget nila inaano. And this is something na very alarming kasi pag sila natatakot na, there was this case na takot siya dahil padating na yung nanay niya at hindi siya gagraduate. Buti na lang na prevent siya ng mga friends kasi tatalo na siya dun sa condo. Dahil natatakot siya na malaman na yung perang pinabadala ng parent, ng mother, ay hindi niya binayad sa tuition niya dahil at kung titingnan mo yung gadget niya, yun yung ako nga may trabaho pero ang gadget ko ganito lang, pero siya talagang high-end na gadget. Kasi ito ngayon ng mga natin ngayon kabataan, para bang they are very okay na okay sila pag meron silang kasamang gadget na ganito. Kahit hindi sila kumain, kahit hindi sila makapag sa family, basta meron silang gadget. And this is a wrong way of thinking na dapat nababago kung andun lang sana ang mga parents sa bahay nila para sila ay alalayan.
Yeah,
Sir Melo, meron po akong ibibigay na sample dun sa tanong nyo po. Meron po ngayon, sabi nyo po, na ibinebenta yung kanilang katawan online para po makakuha po ng pera. Ang pinaka-latest po ngayon, ngayon po ay sa gaming world. Bali, ang ginagawa po ng mga kabataan ngayon, as young as 11 years old, sasali po sila sa gaming world. Tapos po, meron pong chat group doon na makikipag-chat sila para makakuha po sila ng points, or ibig sabihin, bibili po ng points para makapaglaro po sila. Ang ibig sabihin, bebenta po nila yung katawan nila, may papakita po sila ng mga sensitibong parte, and then bibigyan po sila ng load. Kumbaga, doon po sa credit po ang tawag doon. Marami pong ganyan, lalo na po sa online world ngayon. At mas grabe pa po kasi may mafia po ngayon sa online world na kung alam niyo po yung gaming na mga gaming online po, mananalo po kayo ng $24 million para maglaro po nun. So, ang laking effect po sa mga bata ngayon nung mental health nun kasi hindi na sila natutulog, nagte-training na lang sila tas ang mga kausap po nila is World Wide Web. Pag sinabi pong World Wide Web, ito po ay bilyon na informasyon na hindi natin kilala. Pwede pong galing sa ibang bansa na may mafia at tinuturuan po sila ng kung ano-ano, pornography, at marami pong mga bagay na hindi po naiintindihan ng magulang na nai-involve po ang mga kabataan ngayon. Kaya tumataas din po yung risk natin ngayon ng mental health problem.
Actually, cybercrime naman yun di ba? Kaya kailangan din alisto din ang ating mga kapulisan. Pero isa ding factor na nakikita ko din para makalusot sa lockdown, yung iba binibigay ang kanilang sarili sa mga nagbabantay ng mga security. Nagiging issue din yan. Nagkakaroon ng sexual activities. Unfortunately, nangyayari yan. But I think nasa values din ng organisasyon at pag nalaman, dapat we must not accept it. Kasi if we accept it, wala tayong magagawa dahil ganyan lang, wala na tayo talagang gagawin. It is better to have. And I think gusto ko nang sabihin, ang positive note naman na lockdown sila yung mga families na strengthen ang family relationship. I want to see that as also positive. I saw that in the family of my nephews and nieces na may bonding sila talaga. Nakita ko yung positive.
Very good. Pero ang sabi kasi, kung marami ang gumagawa, yun ang normal.
Yeah.
Kung nagbabago yung normal,
New normal.
New normal. Yun ang justification. You know, when I was young, yung hinuhulugan lang na 5 centimos na may ping-pong, yung pinball, masaya na kami ron eh.
Opo.
Bibili ka ng ice drop na may mungko sa dulo.
Opo.
Pang-limon na may ice cream, may sorbetes. Masaya na kami ron eh. Pero mukhang ngayon iba na. Kailangan sikat ka bagay meron kang bagong gadget. I can only have a new gadget pag naka2 taon na yung cellphone ko. Papata na ng globe, no? Yung mga ganyan. Pero iba eh. Sabi nga, hindi baling wala akong makain pero naka-iPhone naman ako.
Yes.
Doctor, coming from a psychiatrist, anong ibig sabihin nito? Nababago ba yung pananaw ng tao? Or are we getting more consumerist? Doc. Teka, nakamute po kayo.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, talking about this gadget, this iPad, tablets, and also the selling of the body, sensitive part of the body in exchange for something, everything boils down to values, to values. Nowadays, the children, not only children, in general, the people are more materialistic. People are materialistically oriented. So as the advocacy of the Ma'am Lucy, the Sally, she's with the Family Alliance. So actually, the mental health it starts from the family, from the house. So at home, we have to emphasize the values of spirituality, the values of biblical teaching. So that is, I think that's one important thing. And also regarding the use of gadget, ideally, the start of use of the computer, this gadget, should start at the age of 5 or 6, not earlier than that. Even though at the age of 5 or 6, it's still way to regulate them. If you don't regulate, the children can navigate those bad places. So
Yeah.
I would say that the family is
Okay.
family, the education of the parents on education, that is something very, very important at the start, at the beginning of the psychological well-being of a child.
Mhm.
So, now, maybe I'd like to share with you something.
Yes,
Yeah, earlier, si Tita Cora mentioned about spirituality. I would like to also say na spirituality is an important part of psychosocial rehab. In fact, the issue of spirituality is even mentioned by WHO. Okay? Before years ago, maybe many years ago, for WHO, the health only pertained to physical health. Later on, they moved to mental health. Now they even mention about spirituality. So that's the spirituality is very important part of our health in totality. Now I also got earlier Sally mentioned about Tuina, Yeah, Tuina is a kind of therapeutic exercise, a kind of therapy, based on the traditional Chinese medical philosophy. Now we'd like to share with you now.
Yes, Doc.
We are engaging in this Tuina training. And one example is that last year we had a training, we have a series of 2 trainings in this Tuina or therapeutic phase. And in one of my medical missions, we had a monthly medical mission wherein we included Tuina. We were able to invite two patients from PGH. They went there to do regular therapy.
Mhm. Yes, Doc. Medyo nagfe-fade yung internet signal. Yeah. Hello? Uy, nagfe-fade yung signal. Kung minsan po, Tita Cora, yung pagkawala ng internet,
Correct.
Stress.
will be enough to drive you nuts, ano?
That is
Yeah.
why kailangan effective ang communication system. Dahil
course.
kung hindi, talaga, sometimes I even get some help para to make sure pag hindi ako makakonect, meron tutulong sa akin.
Okay. Very good. Pero
Training ako.
may mahalagang binanggit si Dr. Tan kanina, yung edad ng bata, 5 years old,
Yes.
dapat regulated yung paggamit ng gadgets. Pero let me point out to you something. I've seen this in churches when I attend church,
Yeah.
rites and rituals. Sa misa, para wag mangulit yung bata, binibigyan ng cellphone, binibigyan ng
Yes.
iPad
Para makapaglaro.
para maglaro at age 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Pero ano ba yon? Yung bang bata ay tinitingnan bilang istorbo? Hindi ba yung bata dapat mahalin? Hindi ba yung magulang ang dapat magkaroon ng orientation on how to care for their children?
Ginagawa pong pacifier yung
Yun lang nga eh.
yeah. Ginagawa pong pacifier magulang.
Kasi ako naniniwala, kung malikot ang mga bata at hindi pa ready, wag munang dalhin sa simbahan. Kasi para sa akin, nadi-distract pati mga magulang, hindi makakonsentrate sa mass kung hindi pa ready ang bata. Disiplinahin and say, ready kayo, walang cellphone, walang nakaupo lang, ganyan. Pag hindi pa ready, I discourage the mothers to bring their children kung undisciplined pa yung mga bata.
Pero before, I'm talking of eons past, BC,
Yes.
before COVID. I've seen newborn children being brought to the malls.
Yes.
Naka-trolley,
Yung
carriage.
nakakarga pa nga eh.
Pinapasyal.
Pero hindi ko maalaman kung anong gusto ng mga magulang. Dadalhin nila yung anak nila, expose nila sa ganung sitwasyon na baka magkaroon pa ng impeksyon. Before COVID ito.
Melo, walang help.
Walang help.
Walang katulong. It's really a phenomenon din na walang kasabang sa bahay na pag-iiwan ng bata, isinasama na lang ang mga bata.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, where are we headed? Okay, yan ang tanong. Eric, let me ask you this. We're about to wind up. Ano nakikita mo kinabukasan ng ating pamilya, ng inyong mga kliyente? Are you optimistic they will all graduate and be part of a productive society?
Yes, we are optimistic. Hello, naririnig po
Yes,
ba?
of course.
Okay. We are optimistic that they will be part of a society. Pero in terms ng with limitation siguro, we need to
Nawawala po kayo, nag-mute kayo.
Opo. Ayan.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, so you said
Okay.
something limited or what?
Limited yung kanilang productivity, pero at least hindi sila totally dependent. Now, we also have cases na kaya nilang makabalik or maiangat yung sarili nila, maibalik sarili nila sa recovery phase, yung normal na buhay kung saan sila ay nakakapagtrabaho, kumikita, at mayroong paninindigan at kaalaman kung paano i-maintain o i-regulate yung mga simptomas ng kanilang sakit. Siguro naka-angkla rin kasi ako.
Paki-unmute muna. Mawala. Yeah, okay.
Ayan. Siguro po kasi naka-angkla rin ako sa profession namin na social work. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all men, of all human beings. Kaya po, we are very optimistic sa aming ginagawa that clients or residents we have here will become productive members of society in their...
Yes? Nag-mute na naman? Teka.
Ayan na po.
Yeah,
yung connection kasi, okay.
Alright.
In their own ways, they will become productive. Yung limited yung dependency sa ibang tao na po.
Okay.
So yun po. We are very optimistic.
Ilan po yung empleyado ninyo, Eric?
Sa ngayon, ang working with residents ay nasa 42. Ang total staff complement namin ay 50. Nasa admin saka security personnel.
Okay.
So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, meron pong mga tao dito composed of different professionals to provide psychosocial rehabilitation sa mga residente ng Sanctuary Center.
Okay. Eric, another question for you. Sa mga empleyado mo, ilan ang job order?
Hindi regular staff.
Madami po, mga 11. Sa
Kaya,
ngayon, 11 na lang po.
kaya ko kasi naitanong, baka yung pagiging job order workers nila would be enough to drive them,
Nuts.
pressure. I wouldn't want to say not, but baka sila yung maapektuhan.
Opo, isa po sa major concern yon. That's why every year we appropriate budget and every year we fight for contractualization or regularization ng mga empleyado, but that is another group. Pero sa ngayon, if they will perform accordingly and show that they are willing to participate in the program of the department, there are opportunities for them to get regular positions. Yun nga lang, sa ngayon, kakaunti pa talaga.
Yes?
Puputol.
Naputol na naman.
Okay, naputol na naman.
Okay na.
So, okay, so sa ngayon po, if they will do their job appropriately, we can recommend them for available permanent positions po.
Good. Thank you.
Meron sa
Ayan si Ma'am Alma.
Opo. Yes.
You also have na yun ng kabataan nearby, Sanctuary,
Opo.
malapit yun sa welfare bill. Ang comment ko lang doon, I tried a program, wage home placement, to about 6 na sabi nila ready, naghahanap ng trabaho. But they're not really ready. They either run away, walk away, at hindi talaga naging successful. But I feel na yun siguro yung preparation for work life outside. Kasi ang nangyari, hindi ready. And eventually, yung bata, umuwi sa probinsya, nabuntis na, yung ganon. So, I find myself a failure in that. Pero sa akin, ang failure yung rehabilitation. Kaya nandun sa institution para to prepare them for a work-life balance. So, naniniwala ako na ganun din dapat sa Sanctuary. Let's help show successful people who were at Sanctuary were able to live and did not return because they were successful.
Yeah. I guess that will be a very good feature sa mga susunod nating discussions. I will try my best to do a video kahit walang mukha na haharap, but they would ito na kami. Yan.
Yes.
So, that will be a very good venue. Thank you very much, Eric Franco Esmas.
Okay.
Thank you. From your end, ano nakikita mo? Will you have more clients in the near future, or are you optimistic you will close shop because everyone's okay?
Actually, sir, I'm very optimistic. We have been existing for 16 years and I'm happy that we are in line with what WAPR is doing. We have handled priests, military, mga health worker na talagang nag-breakdown because of mental illnesses. And now, they are now helping the community. So, I'm very optimistic po na if you give them, if you touch their lives and provide the necessary things they need to help themselves and help other people, gagaling din naman po sila. Pero do not expect yung sobrang miracle na talagang perfect. Just find something na they will be happy doing and they will be worth it. Kahit ano pa yan, kahit mag-prepare lang ng sandwich, kahit lang magbigay ng tubig, mag-plant. As long they are productive, then we can make a change and we can touch them in our own little way.
Pero meron kayong mga militar, meron kayong mga pare. Wala pa kayong politikong naging kliyente dyan.
Ilan po gusto nyo? Marami po.
Marami kasi sasabi na ito, ganyan. Anyway.
Apa.
Thank you very much. And Sel, siguro you can invite us one of these days to your place if it is.
Sure. We can do live streaming here po.
Okay, good. Very nice. Thank you. Okay. Siguro Sally, ano yung activity bukas? Sige nga.
Yes, oo.
Bago tayo
Ito yung ginagawa namin para sa mga patients to give them an opportunity to enjoy out of the facility.
Yes.
Kasi well sila eh. Sabi nga ni Doc Tan kanina, madali ang psychotropic medication. Kasi pag tamang gamot, gagaling sila. Ang pinakamahirap is the aftercare. Kasi kailangan mong masustain ang recovery. So, with psychosocial rehabilitation program, which many Olympics is one of them, dito namin tinutulungan ang mga facilities na magkaroon ng opportunity yung patients from different facilities na magkita-kita. Unfortunately, COVID ngayon. Akala ko nga wala na kaming mini Olympics. Pero itong si Cel, kinulit ako, Ma'am Sally, pwede namang virtual Kaya nakakatuwa yung mga challenges na ginawa. Ang host namin for this year is DSWD Sanctuary. Kaya we have 5 challenges and nakapost yun sa Facebook. Nakikita nila na, oh, these are the patients. Meron silang painting, meron silang making of the PPEs, di ba? 5 yon. And tomorrow, it will be awarding doon sa best, yung mga challenges. Kaya with this, nakikita namin na these patients look forward to this every year. Kaya hanggat maaari, ayaw naming mahinto. Because here, nakikita nila na they are part. Sabi ko nga, yung 3 basic needs of man, yung ma-feel nila na they are part of a group, na they are, their needs are taken care of. Nakikita nila na may pag-asa pa sila. So these are the things, sabi nga ni Cel, lang sila, magwalis. Is enough for us to feel na we were able to do something for these people. So ito yung nagagawa namin every year na sana makita ng mga family, na community, na hindi lang pag-inom ng gamot. At sana maisip nila na tulungan natin sila na hindi na maging dependent sa gamot. Kung ngayon 4 ang iniinom nilang gamot, hopefully during the recovery phase, maintenance na lang, 1 gamot na lang.
Yes.
At yung mga simple medication, mga herbal dyan, mga trina therapy dyan, yun yung makakatulong sa kanila para masustain yung recovery. And yes, they have to be productive and check for themselves ano yung skill na pwede nilang train for themselves para magkaroon sila ng opportunity to work. Kaya kasi ngayon, ang DOLE, they have issued guidelines na bigyan ng opportunity, equal opportunity ang mga patients with lived experiences sa workplace. Kaya tama yung sabi ni Sir Eric, dapat may halfway house kasi this is a recurring illness talaga. Baka sa workplace magkaroon sila ng problema and minsan ang bahay is not a nurturing place for them during relapse, at least may halfway house na pwede sila doon magstay for a few days and then back to work. Kasi may mga ganitong program in other countries na talagang pag they feel they're not okay, they go to that parang retreat house setting, parang halfway house, and in a few days, back to work. So hopefully magawa din natin dito sa atin. Yan yung aking dream for the Philippines.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Tan, your thoughts, please.
Well, I'd like to say something na with 2 years ago, President Duterte signed the mental health law, and last year, he also signed the universal healthcare law. So in other words, mental health is already part of our healthcare system. Now, but as sinabi kanina ni Tita Cora, we only have around 600 to 700 psychiatrists for 100 million population, which is quite inadequate. And in our World Association of Psychosocial Rehab Philippine chapter, we have module for community mental health worker. Okay, remember it's a community mental health workers, wherein we try to train the people in the community. Kasi kulang tayo sa psychologists, psychiatrists, so we can train the community mental health workers, even those people with undergraduates or above high school graduates, as long as they have the heart to do mental work, we can train them. We have modules to train them so that we can spread, provide more mental health care to the communities.
Very good. Thank you very much. Madam Cora, your thoughts, you represent 3 different people from the association. Give us your thoughts about, how you project.
Final thought.
Yes.
On spirituality, my own experience every Wednesday sa bahay namin, I have a gazebo and we have
Yes.
and we really pray the entire novena. It's about an hour, and my sister is involved there. She's already blind, but we continue to pray. So I want to end with that note na we should never stop believing that we can move mountains, that we can face a new world. Dapat nasa atin yun. It's all in our hands because we must dream big dreams, for the dreams of today will be realities of tomorrow. Maraming salamat.
Galing. Was it from the movie South Pacific? You've got to have a dream. Because if you don't have a dream, it will never come true.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
recall, may isang nagngangalang
That's right.
David Satcher who said, there is no health without mental health. And I'd like to remember a friend, kapitbahay ko, si
Yeah.
Justice Harriet Demetrio. Sabi niya, prison is people.
Yes.
May mga taong nasa loob na dapat nasa labas at may mga taong nasa labas na siyang dapat nasa loob. In the same manner as itong mental health,
Correct.
kailangan nating tulungan yung mga kababayan natin who may not have been able to adjust to reality. Pero in so doing, we get to learn from them. And let me end our coffee chat this morning with this simple thought from the Jesuits. If we only have the humility and the courage to walk with the poor, we will learn from them how to help them. Thank you. Have a nice day. God bless us all. Thank you.
Okay, man.
Thank
Melo,
you.
can you have a
Bye.
group picture? Can you have group picture?
Thank you.
Sure.
God bless.
Can you have group picture, please?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Group picture. Sis kokonti lang tayo, no? Let's have group picture.
Group picture.
Sino
Who
kukuha?
is Galaxy? Who is Galaxy?
Teka, sandali ha. Subukan natin. Let me take also.
Sino si Galaxy? Si Galaxy?
Teka, sandali po. Subukan natin. Yeah, I guess I have it. Yeah.
Okay.
One more. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you all.
Thank
Salamat.
okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.